Chelsea are still smiling. Talking about smiles, I have someone who joined me a couple of seconds ago in the studio who will be having great conversations with me around grassroots football development. His name is Coach Raphael Uchemba, the head coach of Refined Nuggets Football Academy here in Abuja. Head coach Raphael Unamba, thank you so much for joining on today's edition of Talk Sports.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and you are always fond of calling me Uchemba.
Unamba. All right. Everybody's name is actually big based on where you actually find yourself. So let's look at it now. What's been happening with Refined Nuggets?
Yeah, it's all good. You know, it's all about grassroots football development, identifying talent, nurturing talent, and redefining their career.
Okay.
That's why we are Refined Nuggets.
Okay. So let's see. Looking at it now, you guys played in the Abuja leagues a couple of months ago. So how did that turn out?
Yeah, the league is still going on, Abuja Kids Soccer League. And at its stance, we are currently topping the Abuja Kids Soccer League under 13. We are also topping Abuja Kids Soccer League under 10 by a goal difference. Okay. And it has been a good one for the league organizing committee, especially the Abuja FA, and with the leadership of Femi Ajilore. You know, it has been awesome. You know, so it's all good.
Well, okay, that's actually great to see that. Okay, it's getting very, very interesting, and we see that your team and yourself are actually, you know, topping, even if it's on goal difference, because Atlético Madrid got kicked out of the Club World Cup based on goal difference just yesterday. So every goal, every minute, everything you do on the football pitch matters, and I'm certain that is what Coach Raphael always teaches his young athletes, players to do. So let's talk quickly around the transfers. I know you're following the transfer market, and Victor Osimhen has been in the business of transfer for a very long time now. Last year we saw where the whole conversations came up, where the current coach now, Conte, says that he doesn't have plans for Victor Osimhen in Napoli. At the end of the day, Victor Osimhen found himself in Galatasaray, where he set and broke records and then made sure help the team, you know, win trophies. We saw him do that. But now transfer windows are open again, and the Saudi Pro League have made lots of offers back to back now. Inzaghi, that's the current coach of Al Hilal, has reached out to Victor Osimhen again based on the recent offer that was made. Now the total bid for Victor Osimhen has now amounted to 160 million pounds by Al Hilal. So Coach Simeon Inzaghi has reportedly contacted Victor Osimhen again with the hopes of convincing the Nigerian striker to join the club, who have now proposed a mouth-watering offer of 160 million deal for the player. Inzaghi joined Al Hilal after guiding Inter Milan to the final of the UEFA Champions League against PSG, and his first suggested a signing for Osimhen after he was appointed the head coach. As Napoli news offered and related that the Nigerian forward is in a whopping 160 million package for a 3-year deal, which will see him earn over 40 million in a season. That's 40 million pounds. So now let's look at it now. As a coach, I know for me, if I'm a coach, I would obviously want Victor Osimhen to be my striker. So looking at Victor Osimhen now as a coach, I see big names trying to sign him and all. Do you think he's dragging his feet in accepting where he wants to go to?
No, I don't think Victor Osimhen is dragging his feet. And you remember he had unfinished business with Napoli.
Yes.
In the sense that he felt he was not treated rightly, and with his efforts and with his commitments, you know, winning the Scudetto with Napoli, you know, he felt he deserved a lot of massive respect. But as a black man, you know, it is what it is, you know. Now, going forward, he was loaned to Galatasaray, and he proved himself again to be a world top-class striker.
Yes.
And he won, I think, a double for them.
Yes, double.
And after that, Galatasaray still wants him to pen a deal, you know, with them. But you know, football, it's a business. Yes. It's all about you win and you make profit out of every deal. So now, going forward, I think Osimhen should remain with Galatasaray.
Okay.
One.
because he still has contract with Napoli,
yes.
and he's not yet finished. Because if Osimhen is asked to go back to Napoli, he's not going to be treated well. We all know that. And the issue with Conte and Osimhen, I don't think both of them are going to agree to align together as coach to player. So I think Osimhen should move Galatasaray, and once his contract expires with Napoli, he can walk away as a free agent. Then the money from Saudi comes in, and you see him.
But do you think with him moving to Saudi is going to be best for him based on where his career is? He's just, still very young, getting into the peak of his career. Don't you think him playing in England would, boost his career more and playing in the Champions League?
Osimhen, he has proven himself at the bigger stage, and I don't want you to actually look down on Saudi League. Saudi League is very good. They have invested a whole lot. They are playing good football. Look at what is happening at the FIFA World Cup. FIFA Club World Cup. Look at what is happening. Look at teams from Brazil. Look at minor teams. We call them minor. Look at what they are doing. So there is no minor in football any longer. And I think Osimhen going to Saudi is also a good one for him. But because of the contract with Napoli, as a black man that I am, I as a coach, and I as a fellow brother to Osimhen, not blood related, but in as much you are an African, you are my brother. I want him to continue with Galatasaray, or Napoli can loan him to wherever they want to loan him to. And after the contract expires, he can walk away as a free agent.
So that's another option. We've not looked at that aspect, but still, we don't look down on Saudi Pro League. But the fact that Victor Osimhen needs to be aligned with those class of strikers, because arguably now you can't mention 3 top strikers in the world and not put Victor Osimhen there. It's not possible. Like even a blind man can figure that out. So looking at it now, you see playing in the Champions League is actually a different ball game. As a coach and someone who has also played before being a coach, you can agree with me. But we'll see what happens and what pans out still. But now you rightly mentioned something earlier about Conte and Osimhen. Now as a coach, what is the primary thing that helps the coach and the player bond properly? Because there's no bond between these two guys. That's why Conte was blunt before he even resumed, or on his first day of resumption, that he does not have plan for Victor Osimhen on the Napoli squad. So as a coach now, what's that one thing that bring players and coach together?
For a coach to succeed rather in any club or team, one, you have to love every player accordingly. There must not be division. You must not show that you prefer someone ahead. You have to treat everyone as your kids. At that point in time, you're like a father figure to every player under your care. And I think one of the major setbacks that some of these elite coaches do have is pride and ego. I was once a World Cup coach. I was once a Champions League winner. All those things are all past. Talking about the presence, going to a team, you just have to treat everybody equally. Look at the likes of Villas-Boas of Chelsea. Remember when he came to Chelsea, he started benching the big players, Lampard. At the end of the day, they brought in Di Matteo, ex-international and ex-player for Chelsea. And he came in and he did a good job. And he won the Champions League. Look at what happened to Lampard too. He had the same issues too. Look at what happened to this other coach, this Ten Hag. Look at what he did to Man U. Talking to senior players that have even achieved. There are some players that even have more experience than these coaches because they have been in the system for years, for decades. So the way you treat your players actually matters a lot if you want to succeed as a coach. Take for instance, using myself as an example, if you see me and my players, you think we are all friends, like you think we are of age mates. Because I try to be submissive, try to bring myself down so that they can relate freely with me. You understand? So it all boils down to how you treat your players. If you treat them right, then you get the right results. Okay.
Well, if you treat them right, you get the right results. So let's, Abuja City League, like you rightly mentioned earlier, the Abuja Kids City League is still ongoing. So what's your plan now? When is your next game coming up?
This weekend we are going to be off. And other teams are going to be playing, and hopefully in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, and the last match like in 4 weeks time, we'll be wrapping up Abuja Kids Soccer League, and we hope to come out victorious in at least in 2 categories that we are currently topping. And kudos to the Nigeria Football Federation. Kudos to the...
How well have they been supporting?
No, excellently well. Ahmed Musa is one of the ambassadors.
Okay.
You know, Emmanuel Babayaro, and the major person behind this whole thing is Femi Ajilore.
Okay.
And the FA secretary, one of the FA secretary, and Barrister Lawa Haudu. These guys are doing tremendously well.
Okay.
And to the glory of God, we'll keep on improving and see how we can bring grassroots football back to its standard. Okay.
Because grassroots football is very, very key. Like the AFL have announced, like in the next couple of weeks, that they'll be kick-starting under 18 and under 20, trials for Nigeria. So with Shehu Diko now, who is the sports commissioner, so far since his regime, how well do you think that grassroots sports generally has improved?
A lot has really improved.
Okay.
There have been tournaments year in, day out, and there is a lot of competitions now. There have been opportunity given to clubs and academy in the suburban area, and lots of people have been like beginning to see light now that, wow, at least we have someone up there that really believes in grassroots. And look at what is even happening in the Super Eagles. See some of our local players now making it to the Super Eagles.
Yes.
Unlike before, we rely on foreign players.
Yeah.
Look at what is happening now. Our country men now, are not doing the right thing, because it's all about, the mentality of the past.
It's changing.
It's all about foreign players. It has to be foreign. And these guys are coming, they're not ready to sweat it out, because some of them are playing for big clubs. So when you see a player that is hungry from the local side, we want to prove himself and make a name for himself. And also proving himself for scouts to sporting.
Proving himself and making a name for himself is very key. So, back in the day, we know growing up during our era, if you mentioned going to play football to your parents, they'll tell you to go and read your book. So how are parents adopting these modern trends now of seeing, taking kids to academy and also starting early from a younger age? Has that changed?
It has actually changed because now education is key.
Okay.
I keep telling people, without education, you can't succeed in this life. Look at what happened to Emmanuel Eboué. He was educated. He has this foundation in terms of academics, you understand? He wouldn't have fallen into that
everything
trap,
to his wife.
Losing everything. So because it was a balance. Someone that cannot speak English, someone that cannot write. Because education is key, education is vital. But at the same time, skills now is really paying a lot of bills.
Yes.
If you are not a doctor, at least you have the skills to play football. Not just football, basketball, maybe an athlete. So we just have to talk to parents to allow kids to express themselves and to also enhance their potential.
Not just having classroom
experience. Skills now pays the bills. And you see a lot of parents are ready to pay a lot of millions now to push their kids to academy abroad or within the country. So I think the narrative has really changed, because by the time you have a brother that is earning 500 million every week,
someone is rejecting
in the bank.
Someone is rejecting 160 million pounds.
Someone is rejecting 160 million pounds. Convert to Nigerian money.
We shouldn't go down.
Then you now working in a bank, maybe as a bank manager, maybe they're paying like 5 million naira every month, and you have someone that is earning 500 million every week. Are you telling me I'm not going to invest everything in your child? So football is lucrative now. That's why we urge parents to keep on pushing, keep on investing. One day it will pay.
One day it will pay, obviously. Now, talking about paying, now let's look at Super Falcons. They are getting set. A couple of them has arrived Rabat, Morocco. Some will be arriving in Morocco later today from Portugal after their goalless draw that was played on Monday. So looking at them now, they are planning on going to win their 10th African title. Looking at the current fitting, the current squad, the depth of the team, how well do you think, or how far do you think the Super Falcons can go?
Yeah. When I was watching the match against Portugal, the first half, I was not really impressed.
Okay.
But when you have league or when you have a tournament ahead of you, every player wants to apply what we call caution.
Yeah, don't want to get injured.
Don't want to get injured and every other thing. But the second half, I was impressed.
Okay.
We could have won the match. Look at the strike from Odega.
Odega, yes.
Look at that strike that actually hit the goal bar, So it was a good performance, and thanks to the NFF now allowing the coaches to select player that didn't fit. Before, we don't have to rely on tired legs. But now both the local side, both foreign players. That blend is there, that hunger is there, that unity is there, that love is there. Likewise, the Super Eagles too. Same thing.
The same thing.
So this is what we want for football.
Yes. So,
and I think the Super Falcons are going to win this year. No one is going to stop them.
Yeah, looking at their momentum and how, you know, hungry they are, I would say they will look like going further. And also, I'm also rooting for them to win. But let's see how this preparation continues. Now, you know, they played Cameroon, the Lionesses of Cameroon, home and away. And they also ready to play an international match. Do you think that start from Justice, that's talking about the head coach of the Super Falcons, though, do you think him playing African team and international team is also a very good fit for the team?
Yeah, it's a very good one. You know, football is more physical. If you are not fit, and you have to be mentally ready. You know, physical fitness is different. Mental fitness is another ballgame. Psychologically too, you have to be fit. So I think it's a very good blend for the team.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk quickly about transfer. Someone that has been out of football for like 3 years now is coming back. Talking about Paul Pogba, where details for his Monaco contract with Pogba is about to get finalized. Looking at it from that angle now, verbal agreement has been done. But former Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba has reached a 2-year agreement with SA Monaco until June 2027. Pogba, who has been a free agent since last year, has not played competitive football for the past couple of months. The 32-year-old was suspended in 2023 for failing a drug test after returning to Juventus for his second spell in 2022. Juventus then later it terminated Pogba's contract after both parties reached a mutual agreement. Pogba will hope to kickstart his career again at Monaco in a bid to return to France national team ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament. So let's look at Pogba now. You made mention of physical and mental fitness. This individual has not played for a couple of years now. How ready do you think he is, and how do you think he would be able to be that same Pogba that we know? That Pogba from Juventus before going to Manchester United.
I have it in mind that Pogba, he has been training privately. He's mentally ready. He's mentally fit. Pogba is not a minor. He's no new to the system. You know, if not for the challenges that surrounds him, you know. I can tell you that if Pogba should come to Premier League, he's going to even do better than some of the midfielders. He's still young, energetic. I watch some of his, I follow him a lot. I watch some of his training, and I'm like, wow, Pogba is still keeping shape. And let's see what happened at Monaco. And bet it. He's going to reach just one season with Monaco. Clubs like Saudi will come for him.
Yes, that's it. I think that's the next thing. Clubs like Saudi will obviously want to come for him based on one experience and also his track record.
He's a World Cup winner as well.
Yes, and again, I think his main goal is actually to play again in the World Cup with France. Let's see how all of that will pan out for Paul Pogba as this week, according to reports getting to us before weekend, a deal should be finalized between SA Monaco and Paul Pogba. So let's have a quick conversation as we set to wrap up. So what's like the major message that you would have for, you know, parents that are looking to, you know, get their kids into, you know, sporting activities? Like you've always mentioned about football education. So football education, like you said, and also academics is very, very key. So how would they convince Nigerian parents that there is a balance within this two as we wrap up?
Yeah, the thing is, some academies are actually getting it wrong. Fixing training days during school hours and all of that.
Yeah,
I think the way they can balance both is for a child to train Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then Monday, they have this mindset of going to school to study, because when you have a training day on Tuesday or Thursday, you see these kids, they easily get distracted. Their mind is, time should run up and let's go play football. But talking about football education, I think if a child is doing well academically, parents should try and see how they can balance both together. Because football is a whole lot of distraction at this tender age. But at the same time, if your child is good at what he does, you have to also support him fully. You know, football is a long-term business. So what I advise parents to do is, if you have any academy that train during the weekends, allow them to train during the weekend. That's why they say all works and no play
Makes Jack a dog.
you understand? So if a child is not also good academically and is very sound in terms of skills, maybe basketball, athletic or gymnastics, whatever the person want to do, the parent should also support the child with 100%, you know, but still make the child to realize that without education,
There is no way.
there is no way. And how can you improve the child? Is by encouraging the child. Keep pushing, keep pushing. One day, a dull child can be one of the best tomorrow.
Oh, a dull child can obviously be one of the best tomorrow. Thank you so much, Coach Raphael Unamba, for taking out time to join us.
Thank you for getting my phone right.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Talk Sport. It's always good to have you. That's how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Talk Sport. Samuel Odi, I'll see you again as we talk more sports. Bye for now.